Ladies and gentlemen, students, dreamers, and future world changers, let me tell you something right now. You are not here by accident. You are not breathing just to exist. You have been placed on this earth in this moment with potential inside you that is bigger than anything you've ever dared to imagine. God always, but here's the real question. Are you going to like that potential matters? Because if you're not careful, God always, you'll waste your life chasing things that look like success but feel like emptiness. Let's get educational for a second. Sociologists say the average person spends 6 hours a day on screens, over 90,000 hours at work in a lifetime, and more than 7 years just scrolling. What if you redirected even a fraction of that time into purpose-driven action? Don't waste your life waiting for the perfect moment. Because guess what? There's no such thing. Stop saying, I'll start WEG, or I'll be ready if. You don't need perfect conditions to take the first step. What you need is a committed heart. You were created on purpose. For a purpose, your life is not an accident. You have divine potential waiting to be unlocked. You were created on purpose. For a purpose. I don't care what your birth certificate says. I don't care who didn't show up in your life. I don't care if your parents planned you or not. God did. Heaven doesn't make accidents. And you being alive right now, breathing in this very moment, always is the loudest evidence that purpose is still in motion in your life. Don't you dare let the lies in your head drown out the truth in your soul. You were made with intention. You are not a filler in the crowd. You are not background noise. You are a headline in the story God is writing. God always, some of you have been walking around carrying the weight of, why me? And I'll flip that question on its head and shout, God always, why not you? Why not you to be the one that breaks the generational curse? Why not you to be the first to graduate, the first to start a business, the first to create something that outlives you? Why not you to rise above the statistics and live a story they'll write books about? God always. You think because you come from humble beginnings that your future has to be small. You think because your family didn't do it, that you can't. Newsflash, God is not limited by your background. He uses misfits, outcasts, and underdogs. He loves a good plot twist. You're walking around asking for a sign to chase your dream. Baby, you're the sign. You keep waiting on the right moment, but what if the moment is waiting on you? Purpose doesn't beg to be noticed. Purpose shows up and says, I'm here. Let's get to work. Don't confuse delay with denial. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not meant to be. You are still in process. You're still becoming. Purpose takes time to cook, and God doesn't serve half-baked destinies. Don't waste your life trying to be someone else. We've already got them. The world is starving for authenticity, not imitation. God always, if you spend your whole life trying to fit into someone else's calling, you'll miss the anointing attached to your own. You are not less than. You are not too young, too old, too quiet, too loud, too anything. You are exactly the package that was needed for the purpose you've been given. Don't shrink to make others comfortable. Don't downplay what makes you different, because what makes you different is what makes you necessary. You've got to stop disqualifying yourself. Stop thinking your mistakes disqualify your purpose. That failure didn't cancel your calling. It confirmed it. Every scar on your story is a chapter in someone else's healing. Your worried people will see your cracks. But listen to Meg, the light of purpose shines the brightest through broken places. God doesn't wait until you're polished to use you. He uses you right in the middle of your mess, right in the middle of your struggle. God always. Your pain has a purpose. Your survival has a reason. You made it through the thing not just for yourself, but to be a living testimony that others can too. There's something only you can do the way you do it. Somebody is waiting on your voice, your gift, your story, your fight. God always. That's why the enemy's been trying to silence you. That's why life tried to break you. Because if you ever wake up and realize who you are, if you ever stand tall in your God-given identity, nothing can stop you. The devil is not afraid of your past. He's terrified of your future. That's why he keeps throwing distractions at you, because he knows the moment you believe you're made for more, you will stop settling for less. Don't let fear freeze your faith. God always. Don't let doubt delay your destiny. God never said it would be easy, but he promised it would be worth it. So rise up with the mindset that you've been chosen. You've been assigned. This is not random. There's a reason you feel what you feel. There's a reason that dream won't leave you alone. That passion that keeps waking you up at 3 a.m. That's purpose knocking. That discomfort you feel around average. That's purpose stretching you. Don't numb it. Don't ignore it. Don't drown it in distraction or bury it in business. Let it wake you up. Let it drive you. Let it pull you into growth. The world doesn't need more people playing small. It needs you showing up full throttle, full force, fully alive, living like your life matters, because it does. Time is not a renewable resource. Every minute matters. What you do today echoes in your future. Time is not a renewable resource. You don't get to recycle it, refill it, rewind it, or reorder it. When it's gone, it's gone. Always. Every second you're living is a second you'll never get back. And yet, people walk through life like time is a bottomless pit, as if they've got forever to start, to build, to change, to become. But I'm here to shake you awake today. You don't have forever. You have now, right now. This breath, this moment, this heartbeat, and what you do with it matters. God, we can hit snooze on our calling and come back to it later when we feel ready. But let me tell you something. Ready is a lie. Ready is a moving target. And while you're busy waiting on perfect conditions, time is moving on without you. Time doesn't wait for your feelings to catch up. It doesn't wait for you to feel confident. It doesn't pause while you figure it all out. You can't afford to keep postponing purpose. Do you know how many dreams are buried under the weight of someday? Someday is a thief. It robs you of the urgency you need to act. It sounds innocent, but it's deadly. Someday is how people waste years, decades, lifetimes. Someday is how goals become regrets. Someday is how people die full of potential they never used. And you were not made for someday. You were made for impact today. Think about how you use your time. Be honest. God always. How many hours do we throw away scrolling, overthinking, complaining, waiting for the right vibe? You've got the same 24 hours as the world changers, the leaders, the inventors, the creators. The difference isn't in the amount of time. It's in how they use it. You don't need more hours in the day. You need more intention in the hours you already have. Stop saying you don't have time and start saying it's not a priority. And see how that hits. If it's not a priority, fine, but don't lie to yourself. Time is your most valuable currency, God always. And some of y'all are spending it like it's monopoly money. You're investing it in people who don't value it. You're wasting it on habits that drain you. You're giving it to fear, to distractions, to self-doubt, like you've got an endless supply. You don't. Your time is precious. And your purpose demands better stewardship. And some of you think you're young, so you've got time. That's the biggest trick of all. Let me ask you something. What if time doesn't measure how old you are, but how full you are? There are 18-year-olds with more fire than some 50-year-olds. And there are 50-year-olds with dreams still on hold because they thought they missed their window. But listen to me. If you're still breathing, you've still got time, but you don't have time to waste. Don't you dare confuse patience with passivity. Don't let "I'm waiting on God" turn into an excuse for fear. Sometimes God is waiting on you to move. There is a clock ticking over every decision you delay. The longer you wait, the louder the lie gets that you're not ready. that you're not qualified. Always. That it's too late, that you missed it. No, you didn't miss it. You just stopped moving. You just paused when you should have pressed. Time is on the move. Will you move with it? Do you know what separates those who make an impact from those who fade into the background? It's not talent. It's not education. It's not connections. It's their urgency, their refusal to let time pass without purpose, their commitment to showing up every day, even when it's not glamorous, even when no one is watching, even when the results aren't immediate. You keep thinking discipline is boring, but wasting your life is worse. You keep waiting for motivation, but motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. But urgency, that's a mindset. That's a fire. That's knowing that today matters, that this hour counts. God always, that right now could be the beginning of everything changing if you would just decide to stop wasting time. You don't need a 10-year plan. You need a 10-second decision to start, to show up, to take the next step. Because it's the small steps taken consistently that build destiny. You don't climb the mountain in a leap. You do it in steps. So stop staring at the peak and start walking. Time won't wait for you to get it perfect. It will only reward those who get started. This is your wake-up call. Your life is not a rehearsal. This is the real thing. You don't get to start over. God always, you don't get a new script. What you do now writes the story they'll tell about you later. So don't spend your time. Invest it. Don't just fill your day, fulfill your calling. Every moment is a seed. Plant wisely, because harvests don't lie. Comfort zones are dream killers. Growth begins where comfort ends. Don't settle for safe. Comfort zones are dream killers. You hear me? That cozy, familiar, safe space you keep retreating to, the one where nothing challenges you, nothing stretches you, nothing scares you, that place is a trap. It's a beautiful prison dressed up like peace, but deep down it's paralysis. You weren't created to live inside the lines of what's easy. God didn't wire you for maintenance. He wired you for movement. But movement requires discomfort. And if you keep running from discomfort, you're running from your own growth. The danger of comfort is that it feels good, but it costs you more than you know. You start calling it peace, but really it's just fear dressed up in silence. You start saying, I'm good right here. But what you really mean is, I'm scared to fail out there. Listen, there is no breakthrough without a breaking. There is no strength without struggle. You want to be powerful, but you don't want pressure. You want to grow, but you don't want to stretch. You want destiny, but you don't want discomfort. Let me tell you something. It doesn't work that way. Discomfort is the evidence that you're in transition. If you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. Stop praying for elevation and avoiding everything that leads to it. Growth hurts. That's why they call them growing pains. Ask anyone who's ever made a difference. Every level required them to break out of what was safe. You don't get to impact the world from the comfort of your couch. You don't get to fulfill a calling with your feet kicked up and your hands in your pockets. You've got gifts that are suffocating in your comfort zone. You've got ideas that are rotting on the shelf of hesitation. You've got a voice that's been silenced by fear of what people will think. And while you stay comfortable, your calling is begging you to get up and go. You're over here settling for safe when God is calling you to significance. Don't you dare let comfort convince you to live a small life. That fear you feel before the leap, that's the doorway to greatness. That tension in your chest when you step out, that's not a sign to retreat. That's a sign that you're alive. You keep asking, what if I fail? And I want to ask you back, what if you don't? What if this risk is the thing that shifts everything? What if the thing you're afraid to try is the thing you were born to do? You keep waiting for the fear to go away before you move. But fear doesn't leave. You just get louder. You move anyway. You obey anyway. You create anyway. The most powerful people you admire didn't get there by avoiding discomfort. They got there by confronting it. Comfort tells you to settle for average. Purpose dares you to rise. Comfort keeps you rehearsing your excuses. Purpose keeps pushing you toward execution. Comfort says, play it safe. Purpose says, step out and I'll meet you there. God didn't bring you this far to sit you down in safety. He brought you here to stretch your faith, to develop your discipline, to pull something out of you that you didn't even know was inside you. That shaking in your voice, that's power getting ready to speak. That nervousness in your hands, that's greatness waking up. Stop running from the things that scare you. Start chasing the things that grow you. Discomfort is not your enemy, it's your invitation. Every champion you've ever seen had to get uncomfortable to get to the top. Every leader had to walk through uncertainty. Every creator had to face criticism. Every mover had to move past fear. And I know it's hard. I know it's easier to stay where it's familiar. I know it's safer to keep doing what you've always done. But hear me, safe will never satisfy your soul. Easy will never fulfill your potential. You weren't made for easy. You were made for impact. And impact costs something. Your comfort zone is not your home. It's your launching pad. You weren't made to stay there. You were made to launch from it. But you've got to be willing to jump. You've got to be willing to stretch. You've got to be willing to let go of the familiar and grab hold of the future. Stop playing small to keep from sweating. Start showing up for the version of you that's waiting on the other side of this fear. You want freedom. Walk through the fire. You want transformation. Sit with the tension. You want next level. Push through the now. Everything you need is outside of your comfort zone. Everything. The joy, the influence, the impact, the vision, the breakthrough. You just have to be bold enough to step into the stretch and stay there until it breaks you open in all the right ways. Success without significance is still emptiness, chase purpose, not just positions. Success without significance is still emptiness. You can stack the trophies, collect the degrees, drive the car, wear the brand, hit 1 million followers, and still lie in bed at night wondering, is this it? Because deep down, you weren't created just to win. You were created to matter. And if all you're chasing is applause, you'll live for noise and miss your voice. You'll become a master of performing, but a stranger to purpose. And I'm telling you right now, don't you dare trade significance for shallow success. This culture will have you thinking success is all about the image, how perfect your profile looks, how big your platform is, how polished your presentation is. But hear me, image doesn't equal impact. You can impress people with your highlight reel and still leave no legacy behind. We are not here to just look good. We are here to do good, to build something that lasts beyond us, something that lives when we're no longer trending, no longer even remembered by name, because true impact doesn't need attention, it needs intention. Some of you are exhausted and you don't know why. You've been grinding, hustling, climbing ladders, collecting accomplishments, and yet you still feel empty. Let me tell you why. Because success that only feeds your ego will always starve your soul. You were not built to just succeed in the world's eyes. You were built to make a difference. That's where the fulfillment is. That's where the peace is. That's where the deep breath comes from when you realize, I'm not just living, I'm leaving something behind. You've got a voice that wasn't meant for echo. It was meant for change. You've got gifts that weren't meant to be hoarded. They were meant to be given. You've got a story that someone else needs to hear. But if you're so focused on success that you forget to be a servant, you'll climb the mountain only to realize it was the wrong one. What good is it to gain the whole world and lose your why in the process? What good is it to be known everywhere, but feel known nowhere? Let me tell you something uncomfortable. There's a difference between being popular and being purposeful. The world might not celebrate significance the way it celebrates success, but eternity does. The people you helped when no one saw, the lives you touched without recognition, the prayers you whispered for others, the courage you had to choose integrity over opportunity, those things matter. Maybe not in the algorithm, but in the atmosphere you shift. In the legacy you leave, some of you have been chasing the wrong scoreboard. You measure your value by numbers, followers, dollars, likes, titles. But the real scoreboard of life is people, purpose, peace, fruit that remains. You don't need to be on a stage to be significant. You don't need a spotlight to be powerful. You just need to live intentionally with what you've been given. Significance doesn't shout. It serves. It doesn't just succeed, it sows. It doesn't impress. It invests. And I get it. It's easy to fall into the trap. We live in a world where everybody's chasing the next big thing, the next platform, the next achievement. But let me ask you something. What if your greatest success is found in the small, faithful moments, in showing up when it's hard, in loving people who can't repay you, in saying yes when no one is watching, in pouring into people rather than chasing positions? You don't have to choose between being great and being grounded. The greatest people I know are those who understood that their influence was a responsibility, not just a reward. That their gifts were tools to serve, not just to shine. Don't let the noise of success drown out the whisper of significance. Don't let what's loud pull you away from what's lasting. Your life is too meaningful to be wasted on vanity metrics. God didn't breathe life into your lungs just so you could get applause. He breathed life into you so you could bring change. You were made to shift atmospheres, to ignite hope, to lift others, to build bridges, to heal wounds. That is significance. And that's what you were born for. So stop settling for success that sparkles but doesn't satisfy. Chase the kind of life that speaks when you're not even in the room. The kind of legacy that ripples long after you're gone. Because at the end of the day, it won't be about what you had. It will be about what you gave. Not what you achieved, but who you became. And that is what makes a life truly worth living. Excuses are the enemies of elevation. You can't make progress and excuses at the same time. God always, you've got one life. So why are you spending it trying to be someone else? Why are you trading your authenticity for acceptance? God always. Why are you dimming your light to fit into rooms you were called to shine in? Listen to me, you weren't created to blend in. You weren't called to be a copy. You are the original design of a creator who doesn't make duplicates. That's not arrogance. That's identity. That's truth. That's the fire you've got to carry into every room, every conversation, every dream you dare to chase. You know it's dangerous. Living your life through the lens of comparison. You keep scrolling, liking, watching, wishing, until suddenly your own life feels like it's not enough. Like your story is missing something, like your gift is too small, like your pace is too slow. But let me tell you something, what you see on someone else is not your assignment. Their lane is not your responsibility. Their win is not your loss. Stop measuring your worth by someone else's highlight reel. Stop allowing their breakthrough to make you question your own process. God didn't give you their gift. He gave you yours. You don't need to be louder, flashier, more like them. You need to be fully, boldly, unapologetically you. Because when you try to be a version of someone else, you're robbing the world of what only you can bring. You're watering down your gift. You're muting your calling. And let me tell you, the world doesn't need more copies. It needs your raw, real, rare authenticity. The world is desperate for people who are done pretending, done performing, and ready to show up exactly as they are. Flawed, but faithful. Imperfect, but impactful. And I know it's hard. I know it feels easier to put on the mask, to play the role, to follow the script. But living a lie will never lead to peace. Pretending to be someone you're not just to be accepted will only leave you empty. God always. You don't have to chase people who can't see your value. You don't have to convince people to like your shine. You just need to stay faithful to the version of you that God handcrafted on purpose. Always. Because the people who are assigned to your life, the ones who are part of your purpose, they will see you clearly when you show up authentically. There's a version of you that's been buried under expectations. A version of you that's been silenced by fear. A version of you that's been edited, filtered, trimmed, and reshaped to be more palatable. But what if I told you the real power is in the unfiltered version? The version that's bold enough to say, God always. I don't need to fit in because I was born to stand out. The version that isn't afraid of rejection because purpose matters more than popularity. Stop letting culture define your value. Stop letting trends dictate your truth. You don't need to perform to be powerful. You don't need to pretend to be enough. You already are. Your voice matters even if it shakes. Your story matters even if it's messy. Your presence matters even if it's overlooked by some. God didn't place your value in the hands of people. He placed it in your identity. And your identity is unshakable when it's rooted in who He says you are. Some of you are waiting for permission to be yourself. This is it. Permission granted. This is your call to step into the fullness of who you were created to be. The quirky parts, the different parts. God always. The parts that don't make sense to everyone. That's the beauty of it. You weren't meant to be universally understood. Always, you were meant to be divinely assigned. You weren't made to fit into every circle. You were designed to shift atmospheres in the circles you're called to. Authenticity is your superpower. You want favor. Be you. You want clarity. Be you. You want peace. Be you. Because when you're walking in authenticity, you don't have to fake it. You don't have to exhaust yourself trying to keep up with an image. You get to rest in truth. Always, you get to lead from a place of confidence that can't be shaken by opinions. When you know who you are, you stop negotiating your value. You stop begging for validation. You stop shrinking for the comfort of others. This world is loud, chaotic, constantly changing, but your truth doesn't have to. Your identity doesn't shift with trends. Your purpose doesn't flex with popular opinion. You were not born to be edited down to something more acceptable. You were born to roar, to move, to rise, to walk in a room and carry a presence that isn't explained by charisma, but by calling. So stop trying to fit a mold you were never shaped for. God always. The world needs the real you, the bold you, the you that refuses to wear a mask any longer. Live for legacy, not just likes. Influence is deeper than social media metrics. Aim to impact lives, not just news feeds. Time is not your toy. Time is not your backup plan. Time is not some infinite river you get to dip your feet in whenever you feel ready. Time is a gift, and it's ticking whether you honor it or not. You don't get to press pause on life just because you're not in the mood. You don't get to hit rewind once it's gone. Every second you waste is a second you will never get back. You are not promised tomorrow. You are barely promised the next breath. So why are you living like you've got 1,000 years left? You've been treating time like a convenience, not a calling. Like you can delay obedience. Like purpose can be postponed. Like dreams are going to wait until you finally decide to show up. Listen to me. The clock is moving, and your calling is tied to this moment, not the imaginary, perfect moment you've been waiting on. Stop wasting your life waiting for life to start. It's already started. You're in it. This is it. God always. And how you use your time reveals how much you value your future. Some of you are procrastinating purpose. You keep saying, God always, I'll do it later. I'll start tomorrow. I'll wait until it feels right. But you don't realize that delay is disobedience. Every time you push your calling to the side, you're saying, my comfort matters more than my assignment, and I'm not here to coddle you. I'm here to wake you up. Because while you're stalling, somebody's waiting. Somebody needs what you carry. Somebody's healing is tied to your obedience. And if you waste your time, you're not just losing opportunities, you're robbing people of breakthroughs. You don't get to act like life is a rehearsal. This is not practice. This is not the warm-up. This is the performance. This is the mission. This is the real thing. And the longer you pretend that your days are disposable, the more you're choosing mediocrity over meaning. Stop trying to kill time. It's not your enemy. It's your greatest ally if you use it well. But once it's gone, it doesn't apologize. It doesn't come back and say, my bad, I should have given you more. No, it moves forward. God always, with or without you. So let me ask you straight up, what are you doing with your time? Are you building or are you just scrolling? Are you pouring into your gifts or are you numbing your purpose with distractions? Are you growing or are you just going through the motions? Because here's the truth. Business is not the same as progress. Activity is not the same as advancement. You can be doing a lot and accomplishing nothing. You can be busy all day and still be far from your destiny if your time isn't aligned with your purpose. Some of you need to get aggressive about your time. You need to guard it like your life depends on it, because it does. You need to stop giving it away to things and people that aren't pushing you forward. God always. You don't have time to and gossip. You don't have time to replay offenses. You don't have time to be consumed by comparison. You have work to do. You have territory to take. You have a destiny to fulfill. And every minute spent on distractions is a minute stolen from your future. God always. And don't tell me you don't have time, you do. The problem isn't time, it's priority. God always. The problem isn't that the day is too short, it's that your focus is too scattered. You make time for what matters. God always. You make room for what you're committed to. So if you're not making time for your growth, for your calling, for your health, for your faith, then maybe it's time to ask yourself what you really value. Because your schedule preaches louder than your lips. You want to make an impact, manage your time. You want to live on purpose, honor your time. You want to stop wasting your life. Start stewarding your minutes like they matter, because they do. You are living on borrowed breath, on borrowed time. God always, and every moment is a chance to build something eternal or waste something irreplaceable. Don't let the devil distract you into delay. Don't let fear freeze you into inaction. Don't let comfort trap you in a routine. Shake yourself. Wake up. Get serious. Because you're not behind, you're just unfocused. And if you realign, if you recommit, if you reprioritize, there's still time to turn the page. But only if you stop playing with time like it's a game and start treating it like it's the holy gift that it is.